Number 3. All right, so I was on Chrono, and I've been hunting a watch. Shout out to Kibble Watches, James out of the UK. Great channel. His channel had 2 lives. Like, there was the one from back in the day, and then he kind of rebooted it as he got more into selling watches. And just a really cool guy. I've written to him about certain watches he had for sale over the years. Wow, I would not hesitate to buy from that guy. Really cool, knowledgeable, and some interesting stock, being that he's in the UK. He had a watch on his website, Omega Seamaster chronograph, vintage, from 1962. I think it's reference 1005.001. Steel case, immaculate, white dial, rose gold indices, and rose gold alpha handset. Wow, gorgeous. Gorgeous. He had that for sale for 2 years ago. And I don't even want to say what it was going for back then. Fairly priced for what it is. It was an immaculate piece. And I just didn't have the scratch for it. I wasn't operating at that level. It's a lot, especially for a vintage piece. Just a lot for me personally at the time. So I was trying to negotiate with him, and he held his ground, and I respect him for it, because some pieces are worth it. And if you're in the watch dealing sector, you're not looking to get out of a piece by and large. Selling is your job, and more importantly, you can afford to hold it. It eventually sold to someone over here in America, and I thought about writing to him to see if he could point me to that person, see if I could buy it off of him, because I regretted not buying the piece. And but I never got around to it, and then pandemic and everything. But I kept hunting the Omega Seamaster 321. That was my search criteria. Because a lot of people don't know the reference models from back there, so I figured they might know the caliber at least. So that's why I was searching with that keyword. One popped on. I search primarily on watchpatrol.com and pickclick.com, which is a portal to eBay. Watch Patrol is a listing aggregator, and one popped for Chrono 24, but it was an auction listing for Sotheby's. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Sotheby's? I'm not trying to buy the Mona Lisa, just trying to buy a used watch. And yeah, so it took me a couple days to get it figured out, because you got to send them your ID and registration and a lot of information just to be able to bid. But last night, it's like 2 hours out from the auction close, I decided to jump in on it. I ended up staying up way too late, knowing that I get on the road at 6 this morning, and had to get my calculator out. I had to build a little calculator in Excel, because it's in Hong Kong dollars converted to US. Buyer's premium 25%. Ouch. Usually they're 18%. And then an overhead of 1%. And then sales tax and shipping, and I'm like doing all this math. And I didn't hold out to the last minute to begin engaging my bid, which was poor strategy on my part. I also didn't think I was going to win, because it's an amazing piece. It's a gorgeous watch in great condition. I thought for sure it was just going to go in the whack and way out of range. But I caught it at my top end, and I was a little bit surprised. But that has been a piece I've been after for the Seamaster collection for quite a while, and got it for quite a bit less than what that one I was hunting like 2 years ago. Even though James' pricing was fair and worth it back then, I got this piece well under. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm gonna document that one because that's an oddball one. Buying from an auction, and I knew there were buyer's premiums, but 25% is steep. I should have sniped it like I would have any other auction. So I don't know if I overpaid or if getting it higher sooner tuned the other bidders in a way that they got to their max sooner instead of having last minute mayhem, which I generally don't like doing. In fact, I hate doing auctions, I'll be blunt. I hate it. What I like to do is I like to find a watch that's on Buy It Now or Make an Offer, and I email, in the case of eBay, I email the seller directly. I talk to them directly about an offer. I introduce myself, I'm polite, letting them know why I'm interested in the piece, start building a little bit of rapport. It's all legit. I like to make friends with people I'm buying from, and I'm friends with people who bought from me. I've got lifelong friends now because of the customer service that I put out. So it's nice to get a watch buddy. Like I've said before, my family doesn't like listening to me talk about watches. So I will usually float them an offer that way. And I'm usually shopping at night. And it's also really good, comparatively to doing the formal make an offer, because if you change your mind in the morning, you're not contractually bound to proceed if they accept your offer if you've made a mistake, buyer's remorse, or maybe you weren't in your right mind. And that's happened to me too. So if it's a piece that I feel is stable and isn't likely to disappear quickly, I'll open up a discussion with the person. Say, hey, I really like this watch. I've noticed this, that, and that. I'd really like to make an offer at this level. And here's the important thing I found. If you're approaching them, be ready to buy, right? Don't go testing the waters unless you're ready to commit. Ultimately, if they meet your price, be ready to commit. No one likes to have their time wasted, right? But my closing line, my closer is, if you accept my offer, I will pay you immediately. For some reason, sellers love that. And like when I buy something on eBay, I click buy it now or whatever, I pay right away. Like, why not? You want to get it done. So I guess there's a rash of people out there who will buy or indicate to buy and take days to pay. That doesn't make any sense to me. So, converse to that, I offer to pay immediately, and then I do. Unless it's like 11 o'clock and I go to bed and I don't see their response in the morning, different time zones, whatever. By and large, hit them up with that. And if you've given a respectable offer, a reasonable one, sometimes even a wild one, you'd be surprised what people will accept relative to what they've listed at. The listing price is just the starting point for a conversation. I set my listings high on purpose. I'm trying to avoid the scammers out there, which is the subject of another video. eBay used to favor the buyers. The sellers. eBay used to favor the sellers when they got started in the 90s. They took the seller's word over everything. Now it's flipped. And I've heard horror stories about, the usual scams. buy something, it arrives, oh, there's nothing in the box. I actually got that once. I actually bought a watch. Oh, it was the first Chronoris, Oris Chronoris 1970 GP, the green and black one. Full kit, no watch. And I wrote the guy immediately saying, hey, package arrived. There's no watch in it. And he goes, oh, let me check the safe. And sure enough, the watch was in his safe, and he shipped the Gigunda box with the map thing and the leather gloves and everything, but no watch. So that was a funny example of no watch arriving in the box. He was cool though, and clearly he still had the watch, so he knew I wasn't trying to scam him. But you gotta watch out for those scams. So I'm gonna get back to driving here, shoot some more footage from this New York show I'm going to, and hopefully by the time I get back, you know, some of the items will be in, and we'll do a close-up. Well, we've already seen a close-up on that beautiful Grand Seiko Japanese Craftsman book, and I'm going to be saving the close-up on that Oris Constantine for its own video. Really excited to do a power trio of Oris watches. So we'll save that, and we'll end off this video with a close-up on this beautiful Omega 321. I actually have it laying against a pair of books. This large book under here is the Omega Big book, and this over here is the Omega Seamaster Vintage book. Kind of a double book option on this one. And as soon as this watch came in, I took it off. The vintage bracelet was on. I don't know where that bracelet came from. It wasn't Omega. It had no business being on it. But dropped it on this leather strap. And this one is a worn and wound 2-stitch strap. There we go. Worn and wound. I have to say, Sotheby's, I am impressed. This came in a little bit magnetized and running about a minute fast. I looked up that 321 movement, got my masking tape out, and took my case back opener to it, got it off, and had this thing regulated super quick. Virtually no beat error either, and the chrono's running great. Let's get that running. Just a beautiful piece of history, and some of these vintage chronographs can run on the small side. I'm going to get this one onto my wrist so you can see what that looks like. Alright, 6.5 inch wrist. I'm going to pop up the dimensions on it right here so you can have a sense of it. These do wear a slightly bit tall because of that domed acrylic, but pretty good lug to lug with those longer lugs. I love it. Gorgeous little vintage chrono, and this movement, this 321 movement. You know all about that movement. That movement is legendary. More so for association with the Speedmaster than this model, but little vintage gem with those Dauphine hands. Those Alpha hands. I'm gonna look that up and pop it in. Great one. And the final message today, hunt. Put in the work. If you want to find a piece, figure out the reference model, hunt through multiple sites daily. And God willing, one will pop for you.